questions answered for. Okay, go ahead. Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Okay, Sarah, what questions do you have on the 3-4 worksheet?
Hang on, I gotta pull it out really quick. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, so for the 3-4, just question 1 part A. Do I just take the total cost and just times it by 2 for 2 years? Is that what it's saying?
That sounds about right. Yep.
Okay. And then shoot. Yeah. Hang on, I gotta think of what my other question was really quick. I'll be back in a second.
You're totally fine. Stephen, if you have questions, go ahead, unless you're just probably starting to work.
Oh yeah, I do have a question already. Or actually 2. But what do we do if so for this is 3.5, and so it's
Okay.
asking about the volatility.
Uh-huh.
If the beta is negative,
Oh, the beta's negative?
yeah.
On the 3-5 worksheet?
Yes.
Then I would say it's doing much better than the average market.
Okay, so if it's negative, it's also good. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I would say, I think negative, I think anything that's less than 1 than a positive 1 is a good thing.
Okay.
I haven't seen a negative 1, but I would think because that one's going over GameStop last year, I think. Let me see here. GameStop, yeah, in 2021. And I don't know if you've heard anything about GameStop last year. Aren't you a gamer?
Yeah.
So GameStop was like, everybody was buying it last year. And so I
Yeah.
think that's why it's rare to have a negative beta, but I'm guessing that's why, because it was so much better than
Yeah.
the market.
I mean, everyone was at home. They're trying to find something to do.
Right. But I guess I would have to look up a negative beta because I've only ever seen a positive beta on the ones we've worked on. So that's a good question for me too.
And then my other question was, how do we do the shares that are currently outstanding?
Oh, so let me go to the go to the course pack here. And the shares outstanding, we did that in the volume, I think. Yeah, so the shares outstanding is the volume. The volume is describes how many shares have been traded in the current session.
Okay.
I'm fairly sure that should be your volume. Unless we need to figure out how many are still available. Let me look. No, I always treat it as a volume here. Okay. Shares outstanding. Outstanding stock is shares issued by a corporation that are currently held by investors and corporate insiders. So I think we find that by taking our market cap, because our market cap on page 330, our market cap is the total value of the company. It's calculated by multiplying the number of shares that have been issued by the current price. So a little math allows you to calculate how many shares there are. Because the volume is just what's been traded recently. So if we take our market cap and divide by the current price, that will tell you how many shares are totally owed or sold, how many people own of us already.
Okay.
Which I believe we did. Yeah, on like number 11 on page 31. Let me grab my filled in here. 35. So on 331, we took the market cap of the Facebook stock, and we wanted to figure out how many shares the company had issued, and we divided by their current price. And we found out that they actually had 2.85 billion shares. So that's what we would do to find the shares here.
Okay, thank you.
Outstanding kind of sounds like shares that nobody's purchased yet, but it's really like how many shares are currently owned.
Yeah, that's just why I was a little confused.
Yeah, currently held, because it says shares outstanding. There's a couple definitions. They all describe the same thing. Refer to a company's stock currently held by all its shareholders, including share blocks held by institutional investors. But yeah, so it's basically any stock that's already been purchased by our shareholders. Hi, Kelsey.
Miss Main, do you have another question?
Sure.
So for the 3.5 worksheet that you were just going over, 238 at the top, isn't that the price of the stock?
238 at the top of the worksheet, or in our notes?
Of the worksheet, the 3.5 worksheet.
Yeah.
The GameStop, the 238 at the top.
Oh,
bold.
That's our current selling price. Yep.
And isn't that the selling price per stock?
Yes.
Right? Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was understanding that correctly.
Yep. So if we wanted to buy one share of the company, it would cost us $238.
Okay.
Yep, I know. If you all have not done this before, it's kind of a new thing with all these new terminologies. It's kind of confusing. For
And then,
sure.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to the 3.4 worksheet really quick.
That's why I'm here.
For number 2,
Yep.
do you use the simple interest formula? Oh, you actually have it written down.
Yep. And there's a little video I put out there the other day, which you might have already seen it, but I did a little video on where nobody was on the live with me, just because on Tuesday it was just Stephen and I, and he had minimal questions, so I didn't videotape anything. I made a little video that kind of goes over some basic things that my in-person class have been asking about these same worksheets. But yeah, we're going to use a simple interest. Student loans always uses simple interest.
And you use the 2.5 for your T for time instead of 30 months.
Well, you can use 30 months, but you'd have to do 30 divided by 12 right here. Or you can
Okay.
say 2.5. So you can either put 30 divided by 12 in the parentheses for T, or you can just put 2.5.
Okay. That was my main question. I wasn't sure to use 30 or 2.5.
Mhm.
And then I do have one more question. I'm
Sure.
sorry.
No, you're paying for my service. What's up?
For the Unit 3 project for task 1,
Mm-hmm.
the website that you give us for the loan terms, I don't know quite how to like find the loan or like plug it in on the website.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I had some other students ask about that yesterday. In my in-person class, but I happened to be on Zoom with them yesterday. Do you mean the MSU, FCU one?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll share that. I think I'm sharing the correct one here. Okay. So if we go to the MSU, FCU website, and it talks about loans, over here where my mouse is, if you go to where it says see more rates, and then scroll down to home to the vehicle loans, where it says auto as low as 1.99 and do the drop down menu, then they give you different options. So if you wanted to do 5 years, that would be in this category of 49 to 60 months. And then you could just use the interest rate of 2.49%. So when you're working on the, and this is just for everyone, make sure that in your task, you remind me that of your original price of the car, because when I go to grade some folks, I think are assuming that I already know that from the part 1 that you submitted the week before, which I didn't write all those down. So if you don't mind saying, this was the start of my car from the part 1 assignment, and now I'm gonna get the 60 months at 2.49%. Give me all the details. So, because that's what I use in my key to make sure your answers are correct.
What was the first thing that you clicked on to get here? Because
Sure.
I did not see it.
That's all right. Let's go back there. So if you're on the main website, where my mouse is right here down at the bottom right, it gives the different loans.
Okay.
Oh, somebody needs to be let back in, Kelsey. And then there's under there on the bottom right, it says see more rates. Do you see where my mouse is now?
Yep.
If you click on that, it opens up a new drop down. And that drop down, if you go to the vehicle loans where it says auto, that tab, and then do their drop down, right there it is.
Okay.
And then also, some folks have been asking, how do I know how much I'm going to have to put down on the car loan? So it's kind of what you're thinking you might have saved up someday, or hope to have saved up someday to put on a car loan, and try to be realistic, because I want you to think of this as, this is my maybe dream car. This is what I'd like to buy when I get out of college, and think, try to be realistic about it. So a lot of students have just been using $2,000, but I want to make that comment. There isn't anything calculated you should have done anywhere. It's kind of like, what do you think you might have saved up to put down on the car?
Thank you. That helps so much.
And hopefully everybody's got the new, has clicked on the assignment recently, because remember I said in an email the other day that I updated it. So if you clicked on it and saved the assignment last week, you may want to go back and click on the assignment. I just changed, instead of using the APR table, which is our old method, we're just suggesting students use the rule of 78 to calculate your unearned interest for the amount that you're going to save by paying it off early. And that's what the course pack uses now. We used to use this whole mess called the APR table. It was very confusing for all involved. So I'm glad the course pack updated it just to use this new little formula called the rule of 78. And so the 3.2 worksheet, I wanted to go over some things since those that haven't turned it in have already earned a 0. That was due last week. But I want to make sure everybody has the corrections that I've sent you. So on 1A and 2A, they're both asking you to figure out the value in your account if you're compounding continuously. And to be able to compare all three of these different methods of a savings account, you actually have to find the A, the future value in each of them. So I think some of you, just on the part C, you were just finding the interest, but you actually have to find the future value. So for compounding continuously, you're going to use the formula that we derived in the course pack. This is compounding continuously. It's using this, this letter E value that is about 3.718. It's an irrational number. And so if you just use the small letter E, your Desmos will know what to use in the background. Make sure that R times T are together in the exponent. That's a little mistake some of you have been making. And this is what you should have come out with for 1A. And then this is what you should have come out with for 2A using the same formula, but this time we're going to let it sit there for 50 years. Then part B on 1B and 2B, we're both using compounding monthly. So N would be 12 because you're compounding monthly. Make sure you're changing the interest rate because they all have different interest rates. And again, N times T is going to be in the exponent. And then you would have gotten 13,380 and 62 cents for 1B, and 2B, you would have gotten this number here that's circled. Then 1C and 2C, we're both using the simple interest formula, and that is using this, where T is now down, not in the exponent, it's inside the parentheses, and your P has to be outside the parenthesis, and make sure you've got the current interest rate of the 0.032 here for the rate. And 1C should have been 13,920 and 2C should have been 312,000. Oh, go ahead.
I do have a quick question for 1A that you're showing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the decimal place is off by 1. I think it's 13,248.
Oh, it is. It is. I just wrote that incorrect. You're right. 13,248. I had it correct on this page. I just wrote it incorrect. Thank you for checking that. Yes. Thanks, Sarah. It's 13,248. So on this one, the simple interest barely wins, right? Because it's only at 5 years. So at that point, the simple interest is still a better deal. But down on number 2, the compound interest becomes the better deal because time is on your side and the interest rate. The other one, while we're here, I might as well go over, is number 3. It's asking you to compare the find the effective rate. The effective rate is a formula that we did in this lesson. And here's the formula. And it has nothing to do with your P, what you're investing. It essentially is just comparing if you were to actually get this loan at 7.35% compounding hourly, which is 8,760 hours in a year. What is the simple interest rate that you would have to get to be able to earn the same amount of interest as you are compounding hourly at this other rate. And so the effective rate finds that simple interest rate that you would need to get. And that would have to be 7.63 simple interest to be able to accumulate the same amount of money interest earned if you were compounding hourly. That's what the effective rate does, is it basically puts different compounding situations on an apples to apples basis. So for some of you, and I don't think you realize you were to calculate the effective rate and what it was really supposed to mean when you explained it in answers. So I'm glad we had a chance to go over that. Absolutely. So I had a question over exactly how to get the answer on 1A. So our principal that we were investing is 12,000. And then this little e, and that's going to be raised to the exponent of the rate, which is 0.0198 times the years of 5. And let's just go ahead and put that in Desmos so we can actually see how that's going to work. And let me share my screen here. Okay, so if we put in 12,000 and then E, and then I'm going to raise that to the exponent, I'm going to put that in parentheses, 0.0198 times 5, parentheses. So did you use just a small letter E, Kelsey?
Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, I did exactly what you did. Besides putting the 2 exponents in separate parentheses.
So maybe you have this. Do you get 61,199?
No, I got 13,189.31.
That 13.
I have no idea what.
Can you share your screen by any chance? Your Desmos screen?
If my internet's stable enough.
Yeah, I know you have some struggles with that. I would just love to see what you're typing in, because sometimes it's just a weird, something that's just off by just a tinge.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull my Desmos up and then share